Yes, guys. Yes, people. We're back for another preview. Big up to every single one of you that's locked in. Hit the like button, subscribe, all of that. You guys already know what to do as you enter the video. And yeah, we are here for the Chelsea versus Newcastle preview. Obviously, we're going to be touching on everything that's been going on in the last week of football as well. An unfortunate defeat at Anfield. One that, like, in hindsight, we kind of knew was going to come anyway. But the way that we've shown ourselves is still something for me to be happy with in terms of the squad. Obviously, not happy with the result. I see a lot of positives to take in the performance, but we're going to touch into all of that. Obviously, talk about the Newcastle game as well. And yeah, enjoy the preview, enjoy the show, guys. Big up to everybody that's locked in. Shout out to Kev. It's always great to have you back on the show. Hope everything's good.
All good, bro. Feeling a bit more positive after a nice 4-1 victory, Panathinaikos. Walking at Anfield a bit bitter, I feel like we deserved a draw. Even though we probably felt like we was going to lose the game, but we battled, we fighted, and then we showed spirit of a team which can finish in the top four. So it was encouraging to go to Anfield and put up a performance like that, but at the same time, a bit downhearted. But we move 4-1 victories, put us back on the right path. Hopefully, we can take that into Sunday against Newcastle and get the 3 points.
The first thing I wanted to say is, like, yeah, this is our second loss of the season. Obviously, it's also Liverpool and Manchester City. So there's not really a lot to take out of that in terms of the nature of the defeat and the level of team that we've lost to. But one thing I've noticed is that there has been a massive difference in energy since the last defeat to this defeat. First one, game week 1, Manchester City, a lot of fans were already losing their heads. A lot of fans were already panicking. Talking about the whole season's going to be a write-off. We should have brought in Conte, Mourinho, all of these guys instead of a championship manager.
Yep.
Now, 2 months down the line, we've had our second league loss of the season against Liverpool. And the panicking is basically non-existent. For me, even like the usual candidates that I'd usually see trying to run that narrative are coming out of the match feeling a lot more optimistic. And I think that's the perfect indictment of where we are as a club and where we're going. Because within 2 months, yeah, there might still be a few question marks, but it's definitely not to the same level of worrying and fear and panicking that we've seen in August. I don't know what you've made of it, but it's just one observation I've had.
Yeah, I feel like he's proved the critics wrong, and it's blatant to see that we've come a long way as a team collectively. The style of play is apparent to see. Players are improving. Mudryk, which we'll talk about shortly. Defensive structure, everything has come on. So even though we lost that first game of the season, people wasn't understanding that it's a process over a couple of months, and we're now going in to the winter period with just one more loss under his belt. So it's encouraging, and the pre-season doing us any justice. I feel like I come into pre-season, I was a bit like this, but from that loss against City, we've gone up and up and up, and we've got some good wins. But obviously, we need to get back to winning ways, and we've done that today. So just give it a few more weeks. I'm sure in these next few weeks, we've got more tricky opponents. We've got Newcastle, we've got Arsenal, we've got United, but I'm sure we'll put up a good fight. And even if you lose a game, it's about the way you lose. And if you put up a fight and you play well, I'm sure the fans will be still on the Enzo Maresca side.
And it's not even just a Chelsea thing. I think fans in general are looking at Chelsea a little bit more different. And it's another example of how far we've gone in the last 2 months. Obviously, we still have much more work to do. But for this early in the season, people are now not looking at Chelsea as a joke. People are now looking at Chelsea and thinking, oh, crap, we've got Chelsea next. Chelsea are a little bit dangerous. Their attack's going to cause a lot of problems. The midfield now, like the attack, I think, against Liverpool kind of fell victim to how well Liverpool was set up defensively, if anything. Like
100%.
Bar Palmer, who I do think is a little bit of both. I think he got taken out of the game by Liverpool's system, but also when he did get the ball, nothing was working for him. The touch wasn't good enough. The passing was poor. Second half, I think he had a brilliant chance to lay the ball to Noni, kind of similarly to the goals he had against Wolves when he bagged the hat trick. Didn't even notice him. And we already know Cole Palmer's level, but like that was a considerable drop off from what we've seen. But from everything else, I think the attack just more fell victim to the way Liverpool was set up, if anything.
If you watch very carefully, I feel like Liverpool's manager gave Curtis Jones a job, and he literally man marked. I don't think many people realised it that he had a job to man mark him. So everywhere Cole Palmer was occupying on the pitch, Curtis Jones was
Like
within 2
Herrera
yards.
and Hazard back in the day.
It was basically that. And say if Cole Palmer went to another space, Gavin Birch should occupy him as well. So I'm sure they've done the homework on Cole Palmer's movement and they put up a system to obviously defend that. And it worked because Cole Palmer wasn't in the game at all. So fair play to Liverpool for putting up that defensive structure to just try and keep out our key man.
Yeah, like I completely agree on that as well, because obviously Jones had the better of him with the majority of the duels.
Yeah.
I also noticed when we were in possession and the ball was with the wingers or the midfielders, you see like a massive box just surrounding Palmer in the middle. So it means we can't even try utilize him as an option. There was like long periods of the game where he weren't even getting touched to the ball. So like I think both teams came out of that game with a lot more respect for each other, because I haven't seen Liverpool drop deep and give us that sort of space like they did on Sunday in ages. And they knew exactly how dangerous we are on the break, and they did everything they could to minimize it. Meanwhile, with Liverpool, they're looking at us. They saw that we were still able to get a goal in spite of all of that. And we had the better midfield battle. Like Lavia and Caicedo. I said it on 5 things we learned after the game. These two have to be starting. I don't care if Lavia is playing 60 minutes and has to come off for load management. Do that. Do that every game. It can be like the Kovacic, Barkley obvious substitution that we used to see under Sarri. But he has to play. Him in the first phase is ridiculous. Like I'm calling him a cheat code, because every single time he makes the right decision and every single time he allows us to progress. So a pair of them have to start.
He was something else. I think there was about 3 or 4 occasions where he picked up the ball, for a goal kick out from Sanchez. He just looked one way, went the other way. Like he's so press resistant. He's brilliant. It was like a breath of fresh air. And considering what we've been seeing from Enzo, giving the ball away sloppily, not tracking his runner, Lavia ticks every single box as a DM, as a ball carrying DM. Even going into the final third, he was making the right decisions. He was breaking play. He's done absolutely everything. And I believe he's got to pick up some fitness now, because he's going to be needed going into this winter period. I feel like him and Caicedo could literally be such a good partnership going for us going forward. So hopefully we can keep him fit for the season, not for the next few months, just keep him fit for the season, because he's going to be a phenomenal player for us.
I hear it, but for me as well, like I got no worries about that. No fears about Lavia, even Reece James or anything like that. Like, I think, do I still have the picture on here? No, I don't. But this is the first time in 3 years where we haven't had a single injury. The load management thing that we're doing with Maresca and the squad management and the 2 different squads, that is keeping everybody fit. We're not risking anybody. Reece James apparently was fit enough to play like 3-4 weeks ago, but we just didn't rush him because we didn't need to rush him with the games that we had. And also, like, that he's been rushed back for about a good 4 years by 4-5 separate coaches, everybody from Lampard to Tuchel to Pochettino to Potter. Every single one of them rushed him back and he got injured again. Now we're in a position with the squad building that we've done that we don't have to worry about anybody. There'll be guys that will come in immediately 50, 60 minutes, regardless of where we are in the game. You're coming off. It's fitness first, and it's finally working. Like Reece James, I was surprised. Oh, go on. You go first.
And even James, just going off James, he came off after 45 minutes and he played well. But we was all a bit like, what's he come off for? But we understand now. We're not rushing him back. We're not giving him 90 minutes. We're just going to slowly build his fitness till he gets to 90 minutes. And we're not even professionals. Even we've been saying this. Why would you risk somebody who's not fully fit? Just break them in slowly. Give them that slow progression with his fitness. And then when it's time, he'll get it. So the loan manager, everything boxes have been ticked, whereas last season there wasn't. So it's good as an overall. But we're looking at it from the outside. It's looking good, and I just want it to continue now. We've got no injuries going into the winter period. We've got 2 separate squads. The second team's firing. Like I got 4 goals again tonight. It's all encouraging signs. Can we just continue this trajectory into the winter period, and let's see where it takes us.
Yeah, exactly. Just my last thing on the Liverpool game. What was your thoughts on Nicholas Jackson's performance? Because I've seen a couple 50-50 opinions on it.
Quiet, but I believe he was very smart. I think he was trying to get in behind quite a lot. I didn't think he wanted to drop into. We all know Liverpool create a square just in front of their back 4. So anything that goes into that square, the round you let flies. Just like you said with Cole Palmer. So I don't think he wanted to drop into that space. He was basically sitting on the back of Canute or sitting on the back of Van Dijk so he can get him behind. And he got a goal from it. So he was very smart with his movement. I didn't think he wanted to drop into the spaces, but I still feel like he could have worked a bit more. I feel like he was a bit quiet in parts.
Same. Like, I think he was the biggest victim of Liverpool's system, if anything, because like with Cole Palmer, he had enough touches of the ball and it just wasn't really that effective from him. Jackson had to rely on the service from everybody, and everybody was just getting snuffed out, which to me also, I have a lot more praise for him because of the goal he scored and the nature of the goal he scored too. He was dealing with scraps all match. And then he gets the ball 2v1 against Van Dijk and Canate, and he has the composure to bury that. Like, the Jackson of 6 months ago isn't doing that. The Jackson of 6 months ago, if he even manages to get both of them away from him, which he always has the strength to be able to do that, the composure was never really there. It's starting to see it creep out a little bit more. Like, it's kind of similar to the West Ham goal where he's one-on-one with the keeper and it's a good finish. Liverpool, again, one-on-one with the keeper, it's a good finish. And it's also away at Anfield, a place that's an absolute fortress and it's ridiculously hard for us to get a result at. I'm starting to see more growth from him. And I'm really excited to see where he's at in a few months' time. Because at this level, there is still annoying moments from him. There is still the odd bad game from him. It's starting to be a lot more few and far between, I think.
Yeah, most definitely. I think his finishing has come on with one-on-one situations. You know, like you said a bit ago, we went to City in the cup last year and he had how many one-on-ones and hit it at the keeper or it's over. So he's coming on. And this is what I'm trying to say. Like, improvement from individual players has come on. As a team collectively, it's improved. So it's all going in the right way. And you've got to give Enzo Maresca praise and the coaching staff for improving these players. So hopefully, like I said, we can continue to go that way. Hopefully Jackson starts on Sunday and gets himself another goal. That's all we want to see. If he doesn't put in a good performance, he gets a goal. That's all it requires. That's all we require from a number 9 or a striker is for him to get on the goal sheet, and he did it on Sunday.
Yeah, fact. So just to touch on the Panathinaikos game as well. How are we feeling about Mudryk? Because like I said at the start of the season that this is the perfect, like, it's like training for him. You have the Conference League, like trial and error, whatever doesn't work, we'll work on it and just keep giving you minutes and see how you improve. I'm starting to see him become a bit more composed. The passing was already there. Like that was the one thing I'd always give him from last season. He's a good passer. Everything else is a bit of a mess. But we already saw, got 2 assists, got a goal as well. I think he won the penalty. I can't remember for the life of me if it was him or João Felix. It would have been one or the other. But he starts to look a bit more composed, not just in terms of the passing now, but in terms of the 1v1s, in terms of the dribbling as well. Like, it's small steps. And Maresca said it as well in the post-match press conference. It's small steps. He's a little bit slower to improve like a bunch of the other wingers, which people might say it's harsh and they're calling him stupid. I mean, at least he's being honest. Like, development isn't linear. Some people take more time than others do to develop. Yeah. But I'm starting to see optimistic signs. What are you thinking?
120%. I think from the Barrow game, He didn't get on the goal sheet, but he played really, really well. And he's continued into the international break where he got a goal for Ukraine. Now he's come on 2 assists and a goal. So the figures don't lie. The numbers are getting there. But with that in mind, you've got to look at him individually as a player. Um, Before he was giving the ball away quite a lot. He was over hitting crosses. He's running into danger. Now he's picking up the ball in better positions. He's looking a lot more composed with his final ball into the box, and he's also finishing his chances better. So 3 out of 4 of the boxes are getting ticked now. It's coming on. It's slowly progressing. And last year, I completely give up with him. I thought there was no hope for him, but under Maresca, he's obviously finding his feet now. He's finding the confidence, and he's coming on loads. So I just want to see him get a start in the Premier League and see he gets on. Okay, Panathinaikos isn't the best of games to obviously judge him on, but he's obviously got the figures and the numbers in that game. Can we see him Newcastle on Sunday? Maybe he deserves a start now, and let's see what he copes like in a game like that. But all in all, he has come on.
Would you switch him with Sancho?
I think I think he deserves a start. I think him and Neto deserve a start. I think you have to change up. I think Madueke didn't really have a good game. Sancho never really had a game. So maybe change it around and look a bit, keep everybody in the total. So I believe that Mudryk on the left, Neto on the right against Newcastle would be, it keeps everybody
Maybe
in
because
total.
Mudryk will start one of the Newcastle games, be it this one or be it the cup game.
Yeah. I just feel like I feel like we need to see him we need to see him against a better opposition to obviously give him the credit. Okay, if you're going to play against who you play against, but at the same time, he needs to be judged against better players. Maybe
to be fair, he does like a game against Newcastle. We have seen it.
Yeah. So maybe give him a start against Newcastle on Sunday. See how he gets on. Maybe if he carries the form into there, maybe we can say that we have got a Mudryk which is credited about £88 million price tag.
No, I'll be real. I don't think we're going to see too many changes. We will delve into the lineup predictions a little bit later, but there's some question marks that I'm thinking in terms of who's going to start for the Newcastle game or not. Because I think Cucurella played the entire full 90, which surprised me a little bit. Because I would be very surprised if we don't play him. He's been one of our best performing players this season. But he did play the full 90. And I don't know if we're going to risk... Yeah, he did. He played the entire 90 minutes. So I don't know if we're going to risk him 2 games in a row. I also just noticed, we've had 2 Conference League games, cfctvyt, of course, included. And, the last 2 Conference League away games we've drawn straight after coming back. So hopefully that doesn't seem to be another problem with us going into Thursday, Sunday. But going into this match, I think it's a perfect opportunity for us to show that, the Liverpool game was nothing more than just a loss to a team that was better than us. It's the perfect opportunity for us to get back on track and to also stop this lingering thing that's going on around our home league form. Because we've had one win in the league this season against Brighton, 2 draws and a loss. So people are now trying to run the little narrative that we're not really as comfortable at home. I think it's just a bit unlucky, if anything. Forest came down to just an annoying defense and some worldy goalkeeper saves. Kind of the same thing as Crystal Palace, and City is City. It is what it is, especially on match day 1. But here's the opportunity to end it. Newcastle aren't in great form. I think they've got 1 win in their last 5. The attack has been a big issue for them in the last few games, especially in the 1-0 loss to Brighton. Apparently, everything went well for them except the end product. The end product wasn't there. So, kind of think they're a team that we can threaten and we can get a result from. I don't know how you're feeling about the result, but what's your thoughts on the game?
I feel like we can win. I feel like it's there for the taking. To just come off a 4-1 defeat just down the road in Fulham. I'm sure their confidence will be low. Not been playing well this season. And I just feel like this is a game to get the fire back in our belly. We've dropped 4 points out of 6. Frustrating against Forest. The better team probably beat us on Sunday. But we need to start getting the points back on that chart now. I feel like we all knew after this international break it'd be difficult coming off that Forest game. We've gone to Liverpool, put a good performance in, go to Panathinaikos, give them a good hiding. Now we need to go to the bridge on Sunday and do the same thing. I feel like we now need to start with that pattern of wins, Okay, we beat Newcastle Sunday, go there Wednesday, beat them again. Imagine what does for confidence going into the next game after. Who we got after that now? I think it's Arsenal, is it?
Newcastle. It's Newcastle, then Newcastle
Newcastle.
Cup again, and then United.
Oh, United, and yeah, so the following week. So if we beat Newcastle twice next week, sorry, imagine the confidence that gives us going into the United game, and I'm sure they'll be there for the taking as well. So yeah, I feel like Newcastle are there for taking. We've got to win Sunday. There's not ifs or buts. I feel like we drew against Forest. That was hard to take, especially at the bridge. I feel like we need to get the confidence going again, and I'm going a little run into that United game.
Yeah, like this is the perfect opportunity for us to just keep it as a blip and to not keep any questions going around with us.
Yeah.
I don't really know with Eddie Howe because I've read their biggest issue is kind of breaking down low blocks similarly to us. So with Maresca's ability to keep the same philosophy but adapt it based on the team that we're playing, I would like to see us drop back just a little bit more in terms of the way that we play. Just to try and frustrate them a little bit more and to be able to also create breaks that we can transition on as well. Because if they're going to struggle against low blocks, that means they're willing to commit a few more players forward. And we love hitting teams on the break. I think we've got one of the best records in terms of quick counterattacks and counterattacks this season. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. So ideally, like they suit our style of play. Just we got to adapt to it a little bit. I like to see us drop the line a little bit further back. And I know we're capable of it. I've seen Maresca do that when they played us at the bridge with Leicester last season. Albeit it was by force because they did go down to 10 men. I've seen managers go down to 9 and keep to the same tactics. So it shows that he's willing to do it if the opportunity arises for it.
Definitely. And that comes down to tactics. Sometimes you've got to play to not your strengths, but play to their weaknesses. And I'm sure with their defence, we can catch them. I think Fulham done it on Saturday reasonably well. Adama Traore had plenty of opportunities to get in behind. So we could end up with a similar scenario on Sunday. Maybe you are right. Maybe suck them in, hit them on a counter, and that's the way we like to play. So maybe it's a bit of a change in our style of play, not keeping the position as much, but maybe say, you know what, Newcastle, you keep the position, we'll drop back, and then when we get the ball, let's hit them in behind, and I'm sure we'll get a lot of joy from it. So let's see what Sunday beholds. But I feel like you are right with that one. I feel like a tactical adjustment would do us good.
Yeah, like regardless, I'm gonna leave it to Enzo anyway because if it
yeah.
don't work in the first half, I've learned it will work in the second half. This guy's game management is absolutely top tier.
Yeah.
But a real question again comes into the lineup. Now, I've already spoken about the Sancho and Mudryk thing. Do we see Cucurella starting? Because he obviously played full 90 today.
He needs to start. He needs to start. He was missing on Sunday. When Gusto was picking up that ball on the left-hand side, he was always coming back on his right foot. We need that left footed. We need that balance. We need someone on that left-hand side. Cucurella gives this team so much balance. I feel like, even though he's just come off the back of a 90, remember we had the international break. I don't think he played too much for Spain. He's had a few weeks off, getting back into it, throwing back in the deep end. Let's play our best team.
No, I hope you're correct, man.
Yeah. Viega's been playing well as well, but I just feel like Cucurella gives us balance. I want him to start. Maybe give him a rest the following week. So give him 2 games now. The next game against Newcastle, give Viega a start.
Definitely. What do we think will happen with the midfield? Because obviously Enzo got rested. We went with, what was it, Sancho, Palmer, Noni, and Jackson as the attacking options. Do we think Enzo will find his way back into the lineup? He played about 70, 75 minutes, so he wasn't even an early substitution in the game. Do we think it's going to be Lavia and Caicedo full-time or the other way around? Because I've seen Maresca also hint at wanting to play all 3 of the midfielders together. He said the Manchester City game was our best game this season solely because he could use all 3 midfielders. So maybe he's hinting at that, but the way that he handled this game today kind of says otherwise.
Well, if you start 3 in the middle, you have to drop one of your attacking players. That's my only concern. If they start in the 3, that means he's going to play beyond the striker. So it's going to be a 4-3-3. That means he's going to get dropped.
Maybe Caicedo will have to play one of the fullback roles out of possession.
No, I just feel like it's got to be Lavia and Caicedo. It's got to be. And maybe bring Enzo off the bench. It's got to be. I think Lavia's performance the 60, was it the 55 minutes he played on Sunday? I think that was enough to say to me, Lavia is ahead of Enzo. You've got to go with your best, and I feel like Enzo's got a lot of proving to do now. Enzo's got a lot of work to get back into that starting lineup. I feel like even though he's vice captain and all that, big price tag, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to start every week. If a player comes in, plays better than you, give the guy a start. So for me, Love and Casado would have to start on Sunday.
I want to bring this up as well, just while we talk about it, because I saw Enzo liked this on his Instagram comments. It was a comment saying they finally got you right by your position, and in your position you play really well. Kind of a hint that maybe he still isn't comfortable playing higher up the pitch. Which, if that's the case, then I wonder why we're still persisting with it. Because it's now the second manager that's done that. Like, Pochettino did it, but he had him getting less touches, less control of the ball and all of that. Had him pressing goalkeepers. Maresca's doing it, but he's maximizing his touches of the ball, and it still doesn't really seem as effective. What do you think's going on with this situation? Because I'm a bit confused.
It's so hard to put a finger on it. And when he came off the bench on Sunday, I was sat next to Alex and I was like, what's this guy's position? Is he playing right wing? Is he playing cam? Is he playing as a centre midfielder? What is his role on the pitch? And he was lost. I felt bad for him, to be fair, because he was up against Van Dijk and Canute trying to get in behind probably two of the best defenders in the league. And when he was running, he's like he's running in Timberlands. Like, he could not find that extra yard of pace to get in behind. So we've got to find a system that suits him. And I believe with Enzo, him playing as a pivot by himself is better with him playing with somebody else. I feel like when other players are occupying that space, he doesn't really want to get on the ball because he just feels like someone else occupying the space. If he's in the pivot by himself, he does all that work brilliantly. He gets on the ball. He doesn't take too many touches. He knocks the ball. And we've seen it under Potter. When he first came to Chelsea, if you look at the way he played, total different.
But even then, I'll be real, he needed someone with him. Because having Enzo as the deepest player by himself, it works in possession. It works when you're trying to progress play.
Yeah.
He's just not great when isolated defensively. It's like a Jorginho thing off the ball, except he's a bit quicker.
Yeah. Well, Jorginho was more quicker up here. That's where. But Enzo,
way quicker.
Yeah. The thing is, I just feel like we have to play him in centre midfield. We cannot be playing Cam now. There's got to be some kind of tactical judgment to suit his needs. And I feel like maybe in position, I can't say that pushes further up the pitch, Enzo sits. And maybe on the transition on the defence, Casado drops back and he's sitting next to him. I feel that's the perfect role for him. I feel like we've got to start finding the best position because we're playing him in camp. It's just wasted. And it's not trying to play a right back, left wing. If you're not playing your players in the best positions, you're not going to see the best out of them. So let's see if in the next few games, Enzo can start in the right position or come off the bench in his right position and he can start upping his performances.
Definitely. I don't really think there's going to be any other changes in the lineup, but how are we feeling in terms of score prediction?
I'd probably still. I feel like Jorgensen just coming off. I feel like Jorgensen pulled off a great save tonight, and he hasn't really put a foot wrong since seen him. So maybe Sanchez is frustrating. I think
the cup game will be a better test for him though, because Conference League, we said before, you don't get tested a lot as a goalkeeper in those games. Newcastle in the cup, he should get some test.
Yeah, I just want to see some kind of, because Sanchez is pretty frustrating. I think for Curtis Jones' goal could have done a lot better for that. Give the ball away a couple of times. So I feel like Jorgensen, maybe. Apart from that, Cucurella comes back in. Lavia starts.
Fofana will be back as well.
Yeah, I think Neto 100% down at right. He was brilliant against Liverpool coming off the bench. So there would be a couple of changes going into the Newcastle game. But in answer to your question, score predictions, I can see us having a good game. I can see us scoring goals. Can't really see Newcastle scoring. I'd like to say 2-0 Chelsea. 2-0 Chelsea.
I was going to say the same thing myself. This game has to be where we fully put that little home game BS into the mud. And I think we're capable of it. It's just, again, go show it. It's another week for you to show an example of how we've improved from last season. Just go and do it. But yeah, guys, it's been yet another preview. Big up to all you man who's been watching. Everyone who's gone from start to finish. Big up to every single one of you guys. Hit the likes, subscribe. We'll see you guys after the game. And hopefully we'll be celebrating a victory. So big up to all you man. Take care and up the Chelsea. Big up.